Hello, my name is Zach Pratt, and today I want to talk to you about written expression technology and how it can be utilized in a woodshop classroom. The subject area that I teach is technology education, specifically materials and production technology. And written expression comes in many shapes and forms within our woodshop. Some of these include project plans and procedures as we look at each of the steps of our projects that we're making in the shop. Note taking as it relates to assembly techniques and different joinery, and then also the project parts and the machines that are utilized to create those parts, as well as some of the computer programming that's utilized, including coding for our CNC machines. And finally, project reflections. So each of the materials courses that I teach, students will complete a project reflection at the end of the project. That just shows their ability to explain the tooling and the assembly techniques, as well as evaluate their own craftsmanship and technical skills that they would have used to create their project. The reflection is opinionated in all aspects. Students utilize board feet, which is the volume of material, calculations to determine their estimated project costs. And this is part of the project planning and the procedure side of things. So we analyze the project procedures to maximize each piece of wood and reduce the waste. So looking at writing tasks, the first one that I thought about was project reflections. Currently, students are given about 4 or 5 question prompts to answer. It is up to the student whether it's in a paragraph form or as long as it's in sentence form. That's all I care about. However, I will say a lot of the responses are very unclear as far as the what they're trying to get at and what they're explaining to me are two different things. So students can use their digital notebooks, which is something that they complete daily, showing me what they are able to complete during their class time, as well as their project plans, which outlines a lot of the times the step-by-step procedures for them as they are working on their projects as resources for answering the questions. Students' answers are opinionated, like I said before, and the responses can be difficult to follow or understand, as well as provide minimal detail in response to the questions. And so this makes it very unclear as far as how they're reflecting on their learning. So the first technical tool or web tool, written expression tool, however you want to explain it, is called bubble.us. And this is a tech tool for mind mapping, which is great for organizing thoughts and new ideas, as well as note taking and collaborating, as well as preparing presentations. We don't do any presentations in my classes that are formal. There's some informal discussions and collaborations that happen, and sometimes a whole group structure. But most of the time, we do a lot of individual or note taking here in class. So some of the features of this program include an interface that works on desktop and mobile devices. So really working with that one-to-one initiatives. This can be utilized in a tablet or iPad, or also those laptops that many students use at the high school. You can export mind maps. So it can be an image that you can print out and have in a paper document. It's easy to get started. It's free. There are limited features when you use the free version, but it does allow you to get started right away. And you can create up to 3 mind maps without having an account. You can also create teams or groups for collaborating, as well as share with a link. And I think this is great because this allows you for a teacher to provide feedback if they use that link to your mind map, as well as if it were printed out as well. For teachers and students, there are reduced pricing. So like we said before, is a free option, but it has limited features. So if you get the paid version, there's an annual license that has a 50% discount. So the reason I chose this tool for written expression is that a lot of students struggle with cohesiveness in their project reflections. It just doesn't make sense. And when you think about the reflections, should be kind of like a puzzle. All the parts should fit together pretty nicely. So I thought the mind mapping would be great for organizing the students' thoughts. It's very user friendly as well. There is a visual appearance to this, so you can color code things, and it definitely lays it out very nicely as far as where thoughts should go under what branch of the task or the reflection of this sort. And so it is easy to use by elective teachers such as myself. As an elective teacher, writing is not my first priority. Obviously, getting them some hands-on skills that they can apply outside of school is great. But the writing component just allows us a chance to reflect on our learning. And so having the ability to create a mind map for the students, or for the students to create a mind map based off of questions and prompts that I give them, is definitely useful in an elective field. There's no distractions in the program like ads or anything of that nature, which makes it great for students to stay focused and really be able to kind of figure out and plan out exactly what they want to say in the reflection. So it's a great tool for students that need support in written expression. It's a visual tool that shows students understanding before their final writing. So as a teacher, I can provide a template and they can utilize that template to then figure out exactly what are they going to include under this question. So different ideas that they can include there. And then also just giving them a chance to work through that brainstorming stage of things before the final written work. And this gives me a chance to give them feedback on their mind map before that final written piece is completed. For my second writing task, I looked at project planning, specifically the bill of materials. So in an upper level class, a lot of times students are given an opportunity to create a personal project of their choice. I do have some choices that I've already planned out for students, for those that might need it. But for a lot of students, I like to give them that opportunity to really, feel free to break loose on their project ideas and come up with something that's really neat and something that's personal to them that they would be interested in and really take pride in what they're doing. So this does require a lot of extra work on the student's part, including creating a bill of materials and calculating the volume of material that's going to be used to actually figure out, how they're going to make their project and what the project's going to cost. So bill of materials includes project part names, descriptions of parts, the quantity and the size of those parts, and of course the volume of material, which is a calculation that's done either in board feet or square feet, depending on the material. So this is first written out by hand. The reason we do that by hand is because it's a working document that changes all the time. So I find students find it easier to write things out before they do a final typed up version. And so that final version then is reviewed by me, and students are given a receipt for their project. So for my second tech tool that would help with written expression is taking that handwriting and converting it to a text document. And so the one that I came up with was NanoNets. This is an AI-based software that converts that handwriting, no matter the document. It can scan it and bring that document or bring that handwriting into a text feature that we can then edit if we needed to. It does recognize over 40 different languages. So as a teacher that works with students that primarily speak English and write in English, I do have students that are occasionally Spanish speaking. And so this is a great way for them to also be able to write in whatever language they're most comfortable with and be able to convert that directly into text that they can then pull from for their projects. So it scans the notes to pull the information into a usable document, and then it's verified by the user. And then as it is scanning in documents, it's learning from each extraction of information, which is great. So the reason I chose NanoNets is because the program sorts through the information without me needing to kind of decipher what the students are trying to say and show me in their work. So, and even still, some students have trouble deciphering their own handwriting. So this really takes all the guesswork out of it. Students' handwriting can be difficult to read. If you haven't ever experienced that, it's definitely a challenge. So if we can have something typed up, it's much better. There are free plans available when it comes to NanoNet, so there's no accounts really necessary as far as something that's paid. It requires a little knowledge to get started. It's easy to navigate according to NanoNets. And a lot of businesses use this. Over 1,000 different businesses currently use this, and that number is continuing to grow. So as far as prerequisites for tech tools, both options are great for any stage of my projects that I do here in class, from the planning stage at the beginning of the project to the end results and reflecting on that work that we've been able to complete in class. Both options would allow for us to kind of use either tool. Very little information though is needed, or training or understanding of the program for the mind maps by both the teacher and the students. The only thing I would say is that a teacher-led example would be great for a mind map, just so the students understand the whole idea of why do we use a mind map before we get started with using it. And in fact that it's a free version of the program is adequate to get started means that there really isn't a whole lot necessarily needing to be done behind the scenes by the teacher as far as creating accounts. On NanoNet side of things, though, there would definitely need to be some thought going into our penmanship as a teacher or a student. But from the student side of things, we definitely would have to have some type of account set up, whether that be just for the teacher so that they're scanning these documents in, or if students are able to create an account or have a student account for each of the students so that they can quickly scan in those documents. It's still going to save us time no matter what option we have to go with there, but definitely something that we would need to look into. It does not take the learning out of the equation. So even though we're taking those handwriting documents and bringing them in to a text document, the students still have to go through and be able to comprehend their project and the bill of materials and how to effectively use the tools in the shop to produce their final product. So in total, both tools will effectively support students in their written expression as it pertains to their projects in class, no matter what the project is, really. It provides the necessary support for students to focus and explain themselves without misunderstanding by the teacher. And this is a big thing because I'm a visual person, and so I find that visually I succeed better in classes, but I tend to see students being able to kind of explain themselves verbally, but when they go to write something out, they struggle there. And so I think these tools will really help with that, as well as provide me an opportunity to kind of work on my written expression to the students. And that would be in the feedback side of things. So no sooner that student is able to create their written expressions, whether that be the reflection, their bill of materials, I'm able to provide that feedback back to them and really reduce the amount of downtime between each stage of their projects. Also, this creates clear guidance for the students on how to move forward with their projects. And so in all, this is both of these tools are great for differentiating between the students and those that might need additional support, and with the mind mapping or being able to take their handwriting and convert it to text, because handwriting is much quicker for a lot of students than typing out their answers or the final results of their projects. And so both of these options are going to be great for just giving the students the necessary tools to be to support those students as they are working on their different projects. Here are the resources that I was able to use during the assignment, and I'd like to thank you for this opportunity to kind of work through some different tech tools that I could use within my classroom as it pertains to written expression.